Welcome to Toni Unleashed, the podcast, where I unleash the truth about all things pets. My research and anecdotal evidence, paired with expert interviews, will help your pet thrive. I'm here to answer questions, share insights, and spread awareness about what's really going on in the world of pets. I'm Toni Shalaski with 25 years of experience in the pet space. Welcome to the show. Hello, I am joined today with Kat Donatello from Austin & Cat. She is the founder. And welcome, Kat.
Hi, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. Living the dream. We're in New York right now, and it's incredibly humid. I'm not prepared for this, but...
It isn't. Yeah, it's even humid in PA. I can tell you're in your travel bus or whatever we do call it, right?
Yeah, it's a bus.
It's a bus. That's exciting.
Yeah. So we started this journey about a little over a year ago. So came back from Global 24 and we hopped in our bus and have been on this journey traveling around the country, seeing retailers, visiting with customers, seeing different dog parks, state parks, you name it. We've done that in this 40-foot renovated school bus that's painted the Austin & Cat purple. And we've just had an amazing time doing it. So we have 4 dogs and my husband and I, and just cruising America.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, okay, so you have many pet supplements. You've been in business how many years?
We started in 2014, so just a little over 10 years now.
Okay. So my hope is that you will be a current guest on my show. But today we really want to focus on the 4th of July because we are right at the brink of it. And I feel like even just being summertime, there's more fireworks in general.
Yeah.
So I've talked about how to manage 4th of July and that sort of thing. And we can get into like little tips and tricks. Mm-hmm. But supplementally, what is your go-to? What do you recommend?
With all of our products, we have CBD in them. And anyone who knows Austin & Cat, we know that's our foundational start. We started in the CBD space and then expanded into non-CBD supplements. And we do have calming supplements in that range also. But my go-to, and I said I have 4 dogs and I have one that is really nervous. And frankly, I had never had a dog, my entire life that had problems with fireworks. So it wasn't really until I got into this space that I understood how huge of an issue this is for so many people and how so many people struggle with their pets having to deal with this. And it's not just fireworks, but summer in general with thunderstorms and changes in weather and all that. Any of those noise changes can be such a challenge for pet parents. And so we developed this product called Bailey's No More Wiggles, named after one of our dogs, Bailey, who was absolutely terrified of fireworks. And again, like I said, I'd never seen this before, but I'm sure many of your listeners can attest to the panting, the drooling, the hiding under the covers, going under the bed, literally crawling, those big dogs crawling on us, thinking like, we'll protect them. And, you can try so many different things and it can be really frustrating, especially when, a lot of times people will consult their veterinarians who, they trust very much, but then they're given, sedatives. And that's not really what we're looking to do for a dog. We're just trying to really help them in an all-natural way. And there are so many different ways we can help them throughout this season.
Right. And we can at least try the CBD route, right?
Absolutely.
And then see how far we can get with that, in addition to some herbal supplements that you have added into some of your products. And you mentioned how terrified most dogs are. I have one dog that tries to attack. He goes into attack mode, literally. So he's a rescued cattle dog. Mm-hmm. So not surprising. So wherever the noise direction is coming from, fireworks, thunder, whatever, he goes to that part of the house and just starts barking, and literally tries to control it, attack. It's wild. Yeah. And then I also talk to people about creating that safe space, still doing the supplements. And I learned about safe spaces from a dog of my own. So Sadie, this is a dog years ago with my ex-husband, she would go to the basement underneath the laundry tub that was wedged between the washer and the dryer.
Yeah.
Like that is smart because they hear those sounds and they think danger.
Absolutely. And they go to the den. Going to a den, that's their safe spot. Like, so if you have a crate, making that crate incredibly welcoming environment, the soft music, the soft lights, maybe a lavender candle, and then combining it with CBD or a non-CBD calming supplement like ashwagandha can really make a big difference. But I think one of the most important things, and I've been visiting pet stores like crazy right now as we're on this journey, and people will talk to me and they say, oh, people come running in here on the 3rd thinking, I don't have my stuff for the fireworks. And unfortunately, when your dog is already in that fight or flight mode, it's kind of like a little child having a temper tantrum. You aren't bringing them back. Right? If it's already in motion, it's going to stay in motion. So if we can really help our pets get in that calming routine in the days leading up to the 4th of July or the fireworks if they happen on the 3rd, but really preparing our pets and our household for that event can be find a much better success rate than just dosing on the 4th of July. So, we've had this protocol for a number of years, and we'll have it up on Instagram and all that. And I know I've shared the protocol with you too. But I really like to encourage pet parents to start using the products if they're not using them on a daily basis anyway, but to start using them around July 1st. And then dosing, every 4 to 6 hours, being very consistent and really observing how their pet is responding to that. So they can make adjustments in how much or how little they have to use with the dog. But ultimately, we want that dog really relaxed in a kind of that Zen state so that when those outside noises happen, they're still aware. We don't want them, out of it. They're still aware that that's going on, but there's an overall chill in the body. Bringing it back to balance is what we're really looking to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So 3 days ahead of time, we're starting to dose. Okay. So for the listeners that have never done CBD or their dog is on a medication or they're afraid of it, like what advice do you have for them?
First off, be consistent. So if you're going to be using the product, we try to use it the same way, the same time every day when you're doing it. So for example, if you've got a 50-pound dog, a great starting dose for that dog is going to be somewhere between 10 and 14 milligrams of CBD. Now, something a little different in our products is we also use an ingredient called CBDA. And CBDA comes from the raw hemp plant. In fact, there's very little CBD in the plant itself. It has to be converted. But what we found in the last few years is that the CBDA works together with the CBD to create a really effective result. And how that works is it's working on a different set of pathways. So the CBD is targeting it from here, and then the CBDA is targeting it from there. So you're getting it hit from 2 different zones. So one of the analogies the team came up with is it's kind of like 1 + 1 = 3. You're really, really targeting those different pathways and hoping to address that issue. Fear, anxiety,
Gotcha.
all of those things that come out of the fear of fireworks or noise aversion. So again, starting with that, 10 to 14 milligrams for that 50-pound dog is a good starting point. And what I usually say to people is if you're using an oil, you should see the result a little bit sooner than you would if you're using a chew format. But you want to see something within that first 45 minutes. You want to see the dog relaxed. The tail is softer. Maybe they're a little bit perkier with their ears. They just have that more, okay, I'm here. I'm doing okay. I mean, think about like after you do a meditation, right? You feel good. And that's kind of what we're looking for. I mean, they can't say, hey, Mom, I feel awesome right now. This is fantastic. But we can really see a change in their overall makeup.
Yeah. Yeah. And the one main product you recommend is Wiggles.
Yeah, I really do. The Bailey's No More Wiggles is targeted support for anxiety. And the reason I say that is because we've added other ingredients alongside the CBD and the CBDA, which helps elicit a calm response. So think lavender, chamomile, L-tryptophan, those types of things that are going to induce calming in itself. And then the No More Wiggles also comes in a powder format. And the powder format has 400 milligrams of ashwagandha per serving, which is a really therapeutic dose. However, now with powders, it's not going to be something you can use situationally. It really does need to work just like a regular supplement would in the body. So we recommend using it every single day for at least 2 weeks to get that noticeable change.
And that powder with the ashwagandha, that could even be used for generalized anxiety.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Yeah, just adding it to their food every day. It's got lavender in it. It's got the passion flower and the chamomile. So it's got those things that are going to really help, valerian root, that are going to help with calming. But again, you add that to the food, and it's just an extra way to just boost the bowl.
And we have 3 options with Bailey's No More Wiggles. An oil, a powder, and a chew.
Exactly.
A treat chew kind of thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then for those bigger dogs, or, the dogs that you're going to need to use more CBD with, I usually recommend going with a high dose, milligram bottle, like a 1200 milligram oil. And you could use that in conjunction with either a regular CBD chew, or the Bailey's No More Wiggles. But again, these are larger dogs, or dogs that are having, really, severe responses to noises.
Yeah.
And then that's going to be a little more cost effective for a consumer.
Gotcha. How many different strengths are the oils in? 2 or 3?
In the No More Wiggles, it's 1. It's 450 milligrams. But in our regular oils, we have as low as 100 milligrams, going all the way up to 1,200 milligrams. So you're going to get that wide array. And they all come with CBD and the CBDA. So there's 40% additional cannabinoids of CBDA. So if you look at like the 100 milligram bottle of oil, you're actually getting 140 milligrams of those 2 particular cannabinoids.
And so if someone is using the oil, do you recommend putting it directly in the mouth?
Ideally, that's the best way to do it. You can add it to food, but then you're introducing a food source, so it's going to take a little bit longer. But what I usually tell people is if they're worried about because we use a medical grade dropper, if they're worried about putting that dropper in their dog's mouth, whether their dog's a little bit mouthy or maybe it's a puppy, I say mix it with a fat source. So kefir, goat's milk, peanut butter, anything like that. You could just add the oil to that, mix it up, and your dog will lap it up pretty quickly.
Or either of your oils.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a fish oil, like your algae oil. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so let's say I have my dog on the powder. Okay, leading up to it. Can I do, like, the evening of the 4th when things are getting bad, can I do a couple of the No More Wiggles treats?
Absolutely. I'd say do it in the morning. I want to get your dog in that really good calm state, not because what if he doesn't give you the response that you're looking for right away, and you have to give an additional dose? So I'd say if you're using the powder on a daily basis, and you want to incorporate a chew or an oil for that specific time frame, at least do it in the morning so you know how your dog's responded.
Yeah. Okay, so that's good to know too. So what I do, so I don't go out for the 4th of July because I fucking hate fireworks. I mean, they're pretty and all that, but I just hate what they do to the environment. I hate what they do to our dogs, our birds, our waters. Like, it's hard to support it. You know what I mean? So I don't go out. So what I do is I go into the TV room armed with all of my stuff, all of the dog stuff, So I go in with, and I'm ready with a movie or a television and some treats to keep them happy, or, a stuffed toy or a stuffed thing from Westpaw
Yep.
or something like that, like Tux. So I kind of even prepare myself to help them through it. And then I have a closet in the TV room, and my TV room's like really small and cozy. It's not like a big game room kind of thing. So I keep the door cracked. I put the bed in the closet, and my one dog just goes in there, super chill. And my other dog doesn't care. So we just hang out in that room, and that's what we do.
That's brilliant.
And I do keep the TV up a little higher to drown out that noise a little bit. Shut all the windows in the house, because normally I'm a windows open person, but I shut all the windows, turn the air conditioning on, and that helps too.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Right.
That's brilliant. I'd even say, in that closet, if you had like a battery operated sound machine or something like that, just to even,
that's a great
offer
idea.
some additional white noise in there can be really helpful. Some of the
That's a
other
great
things
idea.
that, I really encourage people to do is, we know July 5th is the number one day for lost dogs, for dogs that get out and get
Yeah.
run. Same
Yeah.
thing with Halloween, same, kind of scary thing.
Yeah.
Making sure your ID tags are up to date. Everything is ready to go. Your dog is microchipped or your cat is microchipped. And we don't want to forget our kitty friends, because they also can be very scared of this time. And then just making sure, like you said, having that safe space, all those extra enrichment toys, licky mats, the Westpaw things are great. And during the day, make your dog use its brain, go on a good sniff walk, go on a hike, be active and make them think, so they're tired when they are approaching the evening. You're going to have a much better success rate than if the dog that's just sitting inside all day, not doing anything, it's just going to be amped up and really elevated.
That's a great idea too. And I think it's important to mention brain work opposed to just exercise.
Absolutely.
So, brain work it amazes me how much it wipes them out.
It totally does. We dropped my dogs off for board and train. So they go to board and train once a year with one of our customers in New York. His name is Tim Cohen. He's amazing. He owns a board and train called the Guiding Leash, which we love him. I've known him for a long time. And he reported last night, he's like, we did place on their place beds for an hour. He's like, they're exhausted. That's brain work. They have to think and work really hard to stay in place. And so, everyone thinks that, you've got to tire your dog out physically when, hey, think about it. If you go to a seminar, right, and you're learning and learning and learning all day, and you go back to your hotel room and you crash, you're exhausted. Your brain's been working all day. It's the same thing with our dogs. When they're learning or working their brain, they're gonna be tired.
Yeah. Yeah. And a sniff walk does it too. So you don't like a sniff walk is an intentional walk that you just kind of let the dog, it takes a lot of patience from us, right? Because we're standing a lot. We're letting them kind of go where they want to go. Or if you have a fenced in yard, you can throw some treats out into the fenced in yard, and they have to forage for it and hunt for it. So there's just so many things you can do.
Absolutely. I used to say sniff walks was like Facebook for dogs. They could see who was there, what they did. They know all the tricks and treats. So I think it's great when you can do something like that for your pet.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So is Bailey's No More Wiggles the main product you recommend? That's the main one.
Yeah, it's our number one selling product across the country year round, because there are anxiety inducing things that happen to dogs and cats all the time. So
sure,
the UPS guy showing up, the trash truck backing up, all of those things that can happen, a trip to the vet, a trip to the groomers, nail trims. I mean, the list goes on and on and on about anxiety inducing things. And then we just have dogs that are just flat out anxious. It's just who they are. And then we also have that whole breed of, pandemic puppies who are also anxious and don't want to leave mom and dad's side. So it's when I launched that product, we launched it in 2019, and it did very well. It just has skyrocketed, for pet parents, and it's known like, oh, the wiggles. Yeah, we know it. We want to help get rid of those wiggles.
But you did mention that this is like CBD Christmas. Do you really have a huge uptick in sales?
Massive, massive.
Huh.
And we get on our retailers and our distributor partners and be like, come on, you guys got to make sure we are not going to stock out, because it's so critical. Like, even we were at a show in California with pet food experts last week or week before, and these retailers are like, yeah, people are coming in on the 3rd and 4th completely panicked, thinking, what am I going to do? And if we don't have the product for them, they may have to go and get some tranquilizing medication. And they don't want to pay more. If people are coming to the indie retailers asking for something to help them naturally, the last thing in the world they want to do is, dope up their dogs on medications.
Right. Wow. Okay. So do you want to talk a little bit about general anxiety if we hit everything you want to talk about for the 4th?
Yeah, no, general anxiety, like we just mentioned, it rears its head in all different ways. And, I'm learning more and more about our animals every single day. We have a German Shepherd that we rescued last year while we were on the road. He just suddenly appeared one day and thought the bus looked like a cool place to hop on and go on an adventure with our three.
That's definitely a story of he found you.
Oh, yeah, he totally found us. Yeah.
Wow.
But he's very anxious now. And I didn't realize that a lot of German Shepherds are anxious in their behavior, and that's just part of their breed. Their job is to protect, so they're going to have some anxiety around that. So using the products with him has helped calm him down a bit. It's going to be a work in progress. He's a big guy. I don't know what happened to him in his early years, so we're working through it. Harper is my pandemic puppy. She doesn't like to travel, and she lives on the road full time. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we use the products with her, and we create a safe space while we're moving. And having now seen so many state parks and RV parks, and I meet other people, and they want to know what we do. And oh my gosh, my dog hates it when we get in the RV. And there are things you can do, and creating that safe place also can be really helpful, and just making the environment really comfortable and welcoming for them.
Yeah.
And then Austin, Austin just is Austin. We call him the most CBD dog in America. He is almost 11 years old now. He has been on CBD since he was 3 months old. Every day of his life, he has not missed it. He is phenomenally healthy. We have had, knock on wood, no health issues. No, he's a Labrador Retriever. No ACL, no hip joint, nothing. He's just in tip-top condition, and I really attribute it to our daily usage of that. And we say he's reverse aging. I don't know if that's really true, but he really comes across as a reverse aging dog.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we have Blanca, who's our baby, and she is Harper's niece. And she's just a, confident, number 4. So she's a little kid on the block and just a confident girl. So I've just got her on regular, our everyday wellness CBD, and super healthy. And again, no issues with any of them really, health-wise.
All your dogs are on CBD?
Every single day. It's part of our part of our supplement routine.
So are your oils human grade? Like, can humans take them?
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Our 600 and 1200 milligram ones would be the most appealing because they don't have any fish product in it. So it's made with MCT oil and hemp seed oil, along with the CBD and the CBDA.
Cool.
Yeah. And Toni, I don't even know if you know this, and forgive me for not saying it earlier, but we own our own manufacturing facility. So we have a facility up in Seattle that we call the Makery, because we make stuff. And we recently passed our NASC audit, which now has, given us
awesome.
Yeah, we're really, really
Congratulations. Happy. So for listeners that don't know what NASC is, that's National Animal Supplement Council. So a third party verification process, right? You can elaborate on
Yeah,
that.
it's
But
a pretty intense audit process. So, again, for people who don't know, if you take a look at any packaging, the cookies you just bought at the store, the dog food you have, you flip over the back of the package, and it will say one of two things. It will say manufactured by, or it will say distributed by. And if it says distributed by, it means that the brand is not made by the brand. It's made by a co-manufacturer. And that's totally fine. But you have
hmm
less control as a business owner when you don't
hmm
manufacture yourself. So for us, being our own manufacturer, we do the sniff test, so to speak, on every single ingredient that comes into our facility. So we know exactly what is going into the products that your pets are going to ultimately have. And that's really important. So the audit process there is a very intricate process where they literally send auditors to your facility and they go through it with a fine-tooth comb, and they go through all of your policies and procedures and standard operating
hmm
procedures to make sure that everything is being done according to the compliance that NASC has set up. So it was a long process for
yeah,
us, and it was a nail biter. But I'm really pleased with the team. I've got a fantastic team back in Seattle, um,
yeah.
making our products and working their tails off every day.
I'll have to come to
Oh,
Seattle and have a
absolutely,
little
for
tour,
sure. I love
right?
giving tours of the facility. Yeah.
Yes, I bet. That's a huge accomplishment. Not only having your own um, manufacturing facility that you call the makery, but also that NASC verification, that auditing is huge,
It really is.
huge, huge. When people and when anybody asks me about supplements, I'm huge buyer beware,
Hmm.
buyer beware, buyer beware. And I had a listener reach out on Instagram asking me about, I think it was a probiotic or something. So I looked it up. It's Amazon. It's Amazon Supplement Company,
Wow.
which, yeah, who knew?
Yeah.
And who knows who makes it for Amazon? And like, you just never know. So you just have to be very
Yeah,
careful.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's really, as consumers, we have to, take that second step to figure out where something is coming from. That chain of traceability is so important,
hmm
especially now when, so much is going on in the world and like, where is this coming from and who's making it and how are they making it and ultimately why are they making it, right? So,
Yes. Yes. And that's what I love about indie stores and I mean the store owners are in it because they're passionate about spreading the message of how important it is to feed better supplements, be your pet's advocate. But the manufacturers that are in this on the indie side have that same passion, you know?
absolutely. Absolutely. It's so interesting when you talk about traceability and this customer that or this listener that reached out to you about, tell me a little bit more about this supplement. When we were getting ready to launch our omega oils, we were doing a lot of, research and suppliers and where we were going to get things, and came across a company that was a third-party verification, and they had done a blind testing of fish oils that were out on the market for pets. And it was like an astronomical amount. I want to say it's 70. I could be wrong on that number, but it was like 70% of fish oils that are on shelf for pets are not what they say they are. And that's
Yeah.
absolutely frightening. And one of the biggest things that we found out was that if the amount of wild Alaskan salmon oil was on shelf, we would have
Mhm.
no wild Alaskan salmon
Uh-huh.
left in our oceans.
Uh-huh.
So I
Right?
think that is huge. When I heard that, I was like, huh,
100%.
huh. That was really interesting.
Yes.
So, again, beware, look at your labels, read your labels, find out, if you're using a fish oil, is it Marine Stewardship Council approved? Like, do they have those certifications behind the products that they have? If it says Alaskan salmon oil on it, I'd be really concerned. That's a big fish. So when we did our omega
Yes.
oils, we did all tiny fish. um, sardine, mackerel, herring, anchovy, like tiny fish, right? They're the ones that eat the microalgae, and bigger fish eat them, and bigger fish eat them, and then the salmon eat them. So all of that stuff builds up in those bigger fish. So, tiny fish is so great. Algae is even better if you can convince your customer to, or your listeners to use algae oil. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan.
I know.
But again, that smaller the fish, the earlier in the food chain you are, and the less nasty stuff is accumulated in that body.
So, Kat, isn't it also true that those smaller fish have shorter natural lives? So they are in our oceans, our toxic oceans, sadly, for a shorter amount of time.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Right. So the heavy metal load is lower just to begin
naturally.
with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the plastics and all of those other things that you have to worry about too.
Yep. And I've been in this a couple of decades. So, 20 years ago, it was like fish oil, you got to feed fish oil. And then, you do think about the toxicity and the mercury levels and all of that. And then there are other options, and you should, look to those options too, to rotate in. You don't always, or if your dog has a fish allergy or a cat has a fish allergy. My dog, Layla, who is a picky little shit, she loves your algae oil. Loves it.
Awesome. Well, she's getting the extra benefit of astaxanthin, which is in there too. That's that bright red. That's why it's bright red. That's that algae. It's the most powerful antioxidant ever discovered. I mean, that's just phenomenal to have that in that product.
Huh. What else is in that product?
Hemp seed oil and algae oil. That's it. 3 simple ingredients.
That's it.
3 ingredients. You don't need to have all this junk to make a good product, right?
Yes.
And again, like when we were talking about omega oils, fish first. Let's have that fish and then combine it with hemp seed or flaxseed or whatever other carrier oils that you want to include with it, because then you're getting a really well-balanced omega-3, 6, and 9.
So did you put, how much consideration did you put into what you actually bottled the oils in? Because I know it's black.
It's black, and it is recyclable. The cap was very important to us. The cap is self-sealing. It's a silicone self-sealing cap that we had made overseas. What that allows, or what it does, is it doesn't allow air to come back into the bottle. So oxidation can't happen. It's also no spill, no mess, and it's recyclable. So when you look at those pumps, everybody has a pump in their product, but pumps are messy. They leave rings in the refrigerator. They leave rings on the counter. They break, and they're really difficult to pull apart to recycle. So I really wanted to make a product that was easy for the customer to use, and then easy for the customer to recycle.
Yeah. And the black, so that
light,
natural light doesn't get into it, correct? Any for oxidation.
Absolutely. Any of the oil products that we make are in CBD products right now are in a black matte bottle. We do have a new product coming out that will be in a dark blue bottle, and that's a glass bottle, but that'll be fully recyclable too. And the intention is that product would be refrigerated, and light. It's dark blue, so light's not going to affect it either.
Yeah. I don't think the average person realizes how much thought has to go into packaging, what you're packaging a product in, and then also labeling and everything, all of the, I can't even imagine.
It's
what you have to, regulation and no regulation. I mean,
it's really interesting, especially when you're part of the NASC, regardless of whether or not you're an audited member or being part of the membership itself. But they really help us with all the legalese and compliance on the packaging side of things. And it's crazy the things you can and cannot say. For example, like we could never call the chews a cookie. It's not a cookie, and you can't call it a treat. You can't call it a cookie because that implies it's a food. So it's not a food. It's a supplement. And the same thing, with our oils. One of our oils has salmon oil in it, one of our CBD oils, and it can't be called salmon because salmon is a food. So it's called marine oil. So it's just, all these different little tiny nuances that
Yeah.
Thankfully, they're there to help you and guide you. And when you don't follow the rules, the FDA will come at you. And
Yeah.
just recently, I think within like 3 or 4 weeks ago, there were a number of companies that received warning letters from the FDA for not following, compliance or making claims that, are unsubstantiated or drug related. So you have to be very, very careful. But we have a great relationship with the NASC. And again, my team, knows how to cross their T's and dot their I's 2 and 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what a great conversation. I'm so happy to know you. And, I always say it takes a village to really make an impact in the health and well-being of our pets. And we're in the same village.
Yeah, thank you. I think we're maybe heading your way at some point. And yeah, so
I hope you roll through Pittsburgh someday. I would love to see you. I would love to show you around. If you need a bed to crash, I'm sure your bus is very comfortable, but I would welcome you with open arms.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
it would be really amazing. Or even if you're close, I'll come and find you.
Well, you can't miss us. It's purple.
Well, thanks so much for joining me, Kat.
Thank you.
Oh, tell me, it's Austin and Kat everything, right? AUSTIN.
And cat.com. That's it. Yep.
.com. And same with Instagram.
Yep. Facebook.
Yep. TikTok. Are you on TikTok?
I'm too old for TikTok.
I know.
I can't figure it out. I can't. My kids send me TikTok videos all the time, and I'm like, I can't even open it. I don't know what this is.
Make somebody else do the TikTok.
Yeah.
I think that's, yeah. Because you can shop on TikTok.
Yeah. I'd much rather your listeners shop at independent retailers.
Right?
Yes.
Go
Support
indie,
our
please.
independent retailers. So important.
Yeah.
They're the backbones of our community. And when they start to close, so do your little small towns. And it's sad as I'm driving around the country, going through these cute, adorable towns. You're like, there's nothing here anymore. And so we need those indie stores. We're sitting outside in a parking lot, and we just went in the most amazing little independent, all natural grocer and bought phenomenal fruit and vegetables and things that we've never seen before. So support your indies. It's important.
That's awesome. Thank you for saying that. I don't know if you know this, but I am a board member for Indie Pet. So, it's a labor of love for sure.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
And I'm sure you have a store locator on your website,
We do.
right?
Yep.
So you can go to austinandcat.com, punch in your zip code, and head to your locally owned pet food store.
And there's 4th of July specials at your local store.
Sweet.
So, have a safe 4th of July. Make sure you keep those pets comfortable and happy, and happy 4th.
And happy 4th, and try to enjoy it. Thanks for now.
Thank you.